All right, hello everybody. We are here. I'm just going to start off on the top. Let's give a big hand to everybody here for wrapping up this season. You guys are about 30 seconds too late to Chris Thomas popping champagne. He was just so ready to get to it that had to start early, so we're passing that around. So thank you for joining us. We have a lot of people here. As you could tell with the episode getting released, have not had time to really plan a detailed reunion to this. So it's gonna be a little seat of our pants. We're gonna try to talk to a lot of people here. I just want to give a couple announcements and shout outs at the top. So first of all, thank you to all of you for following the season and tweeting. And tonight, besides the delay at first, has been a ton of fun. And I think everybody is enjoying reading the tweets and everything tonight. I want to give a shout out to the cast and the crew for both putting their whole hearts into the season and also for keeping this unspoiled for 3 years, which is pretty unbelievable. So a second round of applause is in order for the cast. I also want to give a shout out over here to Danny, who put up with me put up with me spending like 80 hours a week outside of work doing this, especially over the last month. It's been pretty insane. So we'll get to some stuff tonight. We'll talk to everybody. I wanted to announce we're going to have the preview for season 6 with end of the season coming. It's all in the works and that. This is not the end of Survive Maryland. So as soon as this reunion ends, we will, I guess right at the end of it, we will open that link and post that and let you guys see what's to come for that and give you a taste. It will not be as long as the wait for All Stars was. It's been in the works for a while. So not too far in the future, we'll have some more Survive Maryland. So that's exciting. We have 175 people here right now, and it keeps growing, so that's crazy. This has been really wild. Don't know how to sum it up. The other thing I wanted to say is if you want to tweet questions tonight, I'm not going to be able to read the chat from this, so I don't know what Chris the Com's doing right now. No idea. Go ahead and tweet your questions to the hashtag SurvivorMDReunion. That way we can filter through those easily. We will. This is live broadcast. Could go any direction, but we will try to get through those and pull out some, and they'll be sending them to me to get those on the recap. So I'll try to touch on those. It might be random. I'm gonna try not to go too long here because it's late. We started late. I know everybody has to work tomorrow, including myself, and I'm on an hour of sleep. So let's get to the point. Let's have fun with it, and we'll have more, wrap up stuff after the season. So this is not trying to cram it all into one night. So. The first thing I would like to do is invite Chris Thomas himself up here. Let's give a hand for Chris Thomas. What's up? Chris, what are your thoughts on all that? You lived it through in real time, and then you lived it through again now.
So it was really nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie, I was sweating during that entire thing, even when the votes were being read at the end. And I knew exactly how they were all going to go, but still crazy. It's done. Obviously, I'm just as happy now as I was back in the day. I had a big grin as soon as it ended.
But what'd you take from winning? I mean, it's people always talk about how it's like literally a thing on campus. It seems like it would be cheesy, whatever, and yet all of you fight and put so much into it. And then I feel like most people end up losing, and only one person wins. And what's it like to actually feel that joy when everybody else is feeling the sorrow?
I can't even explain it. They've probably heard me all talk shit about a lot of them. I don't know. I mean, you won. If you ever won something before, it's what it is. It's a feeling. It's way harder because you have a 1 out of 21 chance to do it in Survivor. So.
How did you stay how did you stay? So many people would give up in the spots you were in so many times in the season or not work that hard. It's so difficult to play the game. I think we saw with so many of even the best players here would, lose hope in 1 week, not talk to as many people. You never stopped working. What do you think made you do that?
So that's just the way I am with things. I either don't do things or I do them 100% balls to the walls. That's how I've been my entire life. And that's just how it was. There was times where I struggled, times where I had absolutely zero power, like Senti and Sabrina. And I kind of just had to sit there and rely on Holly and Ash, and they kept me safe and kept me in the right mind. So thank you guys.
Sorry, I was. Can you grab this up from? There's a shirt in there. This is me directing orders in real time. So yeah, it was so much fun, and I'm sure between me or I know Dom and Colin are doing podcasts and stuff. So we'll have to hear about the whole season for you. But I mean, for me, like it was funny because by All Stars I could kind of see people's stories coming into focus as they were happening, and like I just remember with you and Sabrina, I was so invested in both of you as people and characters, but like I felt like you had so much potential if you could have just survived the merge, and then to see you get there and navigate it, whatever. I mean, it was like definitely I found it like legitimately inspiring to like watch you fight through it that much and like really not give up, align with so many different people, and you can just hold on. That's for later. But it was really cool for me. So another big round of applause to you for now. Do you have anything else you want to say right now?
The real applause shouldn't be for me. The real applause should be for Austin. We're all thankful for him. The fans are all thankful. He's the real MVP.
That's cool. All right. Well, yes.
Good job, Chris.
Let's bring up Ashley. Big hand for Ashley. The great Ashley. I'm so excited to talk to you because I felt like no one could see anything. I'm really excited to talk to you because I feel like this. I really enjoyed watching your personal story. Oh, is that smart? Yeah. Okay. Good job, Micah. Micah on the camera crew. That's why he was the treasurer and vice president. So talk about what this experience was like for you, and watching it back. Has it been what you expected, or what's been this experience been like?
No, watching it back hasn't been what I expected. I think in the game, I thought I was doing a lot better than I felt watching it back. But anyone that watches their sports games back or anything, you always pick out mistakes and stuff. And so I know that there are things that I would do differently in hindsight, but hindsight's always 20/20. And at the end of the day, I still feel the same. I don't regret any of this. I'm in love with everyone here, and I've made lifelong friendships, and that's what's important.
Yeah, and I think you talked a lot about people taking pot shots at you and saying things during the game, and we certainly saw that. But I mean, without having seen any of the comments or anything, like I would expect that most people come away with this with a lot of respect for you and of your game and of you as a person. And I mean, yeah, I think that like everybody has flaws that they go through.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've never hidden those from any. I mean,
Right.
people wrote off Chris Thomas as a winner because I showed him like in his drunken antics at the beginning of the season. Like I think we all are more compelling as people when it's this whole thing. But I feel like people will come away with a lot of respect for you. I certainly was really impressed, especially by the way you kind of pulled it all together in your speeches at the end. So I don't know in the moment, not winning. I know it's like you came in with nothing to lose, but did it hurt not to win, or did you feel really like a good sense of closure from getting votes and getting it shot and getting to pitch your case?
Well, I don't think it was a surprise to me that I didn't win. I honestly, I think there were certain votes that were a surprise that didn't go my way, and I think that was obvious in certain cases, and probably some of the fans feel the same way, but also at the same time, there were other votes that I wasn't expecting either. So I'm okay with 3. That's better than none, and it being a unanimous decision. At the end of the day, though, I was pretty sure I knew I wasn't going to win. Most of the time when you play the game that I played, that's not really a game that wins, and I kind of went in knowing that. But I am proud of myself watching it back. I did have 1 or 2 answers that I wish I had answered better, but I am pretty proud of the way I held myself during Final Tribal, so that's what's important to me.
Yeah, and I think the way you owned your game and the intentionality of it was so good. I think it wasn't a knock on you that it didn't win. It was that Chris Thomas had so many things to call out too, and that the comparison is tough. But I mean, I know Evan and Micah were pretty undecided for a while. Chris definitely made a decision really late. Like you certainly had a shot. I don't think you should think that you didn't.
I mean, at the end of the day, Christy played a really good game, and you can't really battle with 6 immunities and that wit and charm. So there you go.
Well, I like going back and watching the scene of you two in episode 6 where you're telling him to get a grip on things, and it's so funny in hindsight knowing that was the final 2.
In hindsight, yeah.
But no, it was a fun duo and really fun to watch you and to give it another shot. I mean, I didn't expect you to call me and say, or to answer my call and say you wanted to play. Like, that was shocking
I
to me.
don't think I expected either. I had no intention of playing this game again, and then when you said we need one more person, I was just like, you know what? I can't say I was sober when I said yes. I was definitely not, but then I woke up the next day and I was like, forget it. We're going to do it, and we're going to try really hard this time.
Are you glad in the end that you did?
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. This game, even though it was 3 years ago, it's completely changed my life, and it's, like I said, made me closer to all these people that I probably would never have been this close with otherwise. So.
Cool. So transitioning a little bit, I want to get into something that we wanted to kind of bring up tonight. And good Lord, we have 222 people. This is really cool. Don't be intimidated. Yeah,
No, I'm not. That makes me happy.
Yeah. So you've gone through a lot recently, and I wanted to give you a chance to talk about that and transition into kind of some of the stuff we're trying to do as the season wraps up to make this experience even more meaningful.
Yeah. So I guess one thing about Survivor that everybody knows is we've always been sort of connected to a charity, and something happened a couple months ago that was really near and dear to my heart. One of my closest friends on June 4th, he took his own life, and it's something that's becoming more prevalent every single day, and especially amongst our generation, it's mental illness is out there, and just life is hard, and it's really affected me, and I wanted to see if we could maybe manage to make this charity about him. His name is Nick Osuna, and he was a really charismatic and amazing person, and it's been a really tough loss for me, his friends, and his family, and I'm excited that I get the opportunity for this to become something that we're going to do the Out of the Darkness walk in Annapolis, which is where I live and where he and I hung out all the time and stuff. So that's what the proceeds are going to go to.
Yeah. So transitioning into that, because I don't know how much people know yet, but
Right.
So we, I know this is like a college fan-made show thing. We've had the honor and privilege of having whatever kind of platform we've developed here, and I think we both wanted to kind of leverage that and use that to the best that we could. Some backstory, I always wanted to do a charity challenge during the time we were in Maryland, and I could never quite figure out the logistics of it. It was something that I really cared about. We still haven't gotten to do it yet. Anders and Drew, if you're listening, let's make it happen. But postseason, there's, I think, some things we can do. And so there was a big, a lot talking about sales for shirts when Schubel broke out the Forever Immune shirt. And I also, so we'll talk about that in a second. And we're trying to do some different fundraising solely, not trying to make any money for us in Survivor Maryland, only to go to charity. Knowing your story and what you came through, and that this was such a big part of your life too, as well as Survivor. And also, I think some of us here have been touched by suicide in the past. And so it's an issue that I think a lot of us care a lot about. That's something we really wanted to work on. So Maya, can you bring that stuff over now? This one that comes in. So what we're going to do is, I'll have Schubel talk about this in a second, but we have set up a marketplace, the best way I can figure out, to sell shirts and different merchandise, whatever, for Survivor Maryland theme. We have a couple things on there right now. We're going to work on expanding that. With the lead up to the finale, it was very tough to get things really figured out, but we managed to get the initial plans together. And so we're going to donate the proceeds of that to Nick's campaign, and one other campaign, we're going to try to split them, do some double charity works, which I'll get into with Schubel. But so we're going to have that. We're going to have the shirts. So I put that link in the finale info section, and I will touch more on that to come. We also, so these are fun. So let me take this real quick. You want on that. So we have a couple shirts from one from Guts and Glory, the Ula Ula tribe, which Katie hailed from, and the Furiosa tribe of All Stars. Got some shirts. We're going to try to get these signed, put those up for auction to try to raise some money there. We also, these are very fun. We have the authentic partner twist immunity necklaces. I feel like we should have CT and Vic marketing those right now, putting them on each other. But in the
I
interest
never
of time,
had
we
one of
won't.
these. So.
Now you do. So we're gonna put these up also. I'm gonna set up an eBay page or something. So you can get a little piece of Survivor Maryland history, and also literally all of it is going to go towards to the campaign in honor of Nick, and also the second charity that we have. And so hopefully we can raise something from that. Anything is better than nothing. I'll also post links to donate directly to those causes if you guys are interested in doing that. But Schubel, do you want to talk real quick about the
Sure.
yeah. Schubel.
So about the shirts, We're raising it for, do you want to talk about the other charity you want me to talk about?
You start, man.
Okay, so real quick, Austin and I volunteer at this camp for kids with special needs and chronic illnesses. And sadly, 2 weeks ago, we lost a camper and a fellow friend. So the proceeds will be split between Ashley's cause and our cause. And the website is theloyalist.com/Survivor Maryland.
This is Survivor MD.
/Survivor MD. I'll send it. The link is on my Twitter, which is @theschmutz. Also, I'll post it on Facebook and Instagram or wherever other people follow. But so right now there's 2 designs up as of now, which were made today. But if you send me direct messages, I'm thinking about making other designs as well. So the best designs that I like the most, Austin likes the most, the rest of the cast likes the most, will go up on the site. So as Austin said, all the profits are going to these 2 charities, and be on the lookout because new designs and new hats, shirts, any memorabilia will be popping up there for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I will. Now that I'm done with the editing, I will get the word out about all of that as many ways as possible. We would really love if people want to contribute to this. We've got some great shirt designs in the works. Maybe we can get one of Brian Scally's creations on there.
There's a couple.
But we'll have some fun with that. And the both causes. I mean, the Nick's cause, and also it's called the name of the other charity is Brainy Camps, which is a subsidiary of Children's Hospital, and I've worked there for like 9 years at this point, and it's one of the most meaningful things I've ever done in my life. And I know it. Pretty much all of their fundraising goes to fundraisers for kids in need of going to camp from inner cities and stuff. So really, really amazing causes both ways. And we're hoping to at least raise something to make it worthwhile. So thank you for bringing that up.
theloyalist.com/Survivor MD. New designs, new colors, all coming out. I just got it live today. So if there's anything you want, just let me know and I'll make it happen.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Shubal.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's bring Eric King up here.
Fair player.
One could argue the unsung star of the finale. I saw a lot of love for your haircut, and you're rocking the short hair again, so people should be happy.
To that, yeah.
How you doing, Eric?
I don't know. My feelings have been hurt pretty much for like however many months this show's been coming out, but I mean, I don't know. I think I closed the season out strong. Absolutely, the best I could do for like my humor, I guess. But
well, I think you got to show a lot of like. I think something that's undersold in the season is we don't always pick up every little interaction people have with each other, and there's so much going on with strategy and everything that it's hard to see everyone's character showed through all the time. But I think like everybody around our community like loves you because you're just funny, like what you saw tonight. Like you're self-aware and self-deprecating, but also just like humorous in a lot of ways. And like I think it's safe to say, and I wanted to ask this question. I think somebody might have asked about this, but like you were definitely an underrated jury threat by people in the fandom. I think you were a much bigger jury threat in real time in the game.
yeah, I mean, I had a lot of friends on the jury. I mean, like the comp. I think maybe Micah. Maybe, I don't know, but he shouldn't. He kind of owed me a little bit, I feel like, but maybe Evan. I don't know if it really came through. I look like a pretty shitty player, to be honest, but I had a lot of friends. I always say I had a smooth social game, so.
Well, I actually didn't totally understand some of the hate for your game. I mean, so many people were playing so well that I think it can get lost in the shuffle, but right away, something that was interesting to me is that in the premiere, you kind of were a little goofy with the idol, and people were like, "Wow, Eric's getting dodo at it, and he's so dumb." And I think people just like stuck to that. And I actually thought you were doing a really good job of totally changing your perception in a lot of ways. And so I think I actually give you a lot of credit.
I mean, everyone wanted me to come back and do like my like whole like villainous thing that I did in my original season, but like it didn't work the first time. So I mean, try to change it up a little bit,
Yeah, I think there's a case you made that you changed your game more than any other person.
Like a little, yeah, I guess a little bit, but that way, I don't know. Everyone likes to hate me. I didn't really play villainously this time, so.
I think people enjoy watching either end of the spectrum, and when you like, a lot of times the smartest thing to do is to kind of ride in the middle of that and fade into the shadows a bit. And that can be part
Yeah,
of
I
it.
mean, hey, got me final 3, so
Yeah.
pretty close.
So how are you feeling overall about the
Pretty, like,
Survivor?
I mean, I guess, like, I'm proud of myself kind of for like making it that a little bit like further than I did the first time. But I agree that like Chris T definitely was deserving to win for sure, and Ashley probably was a little more deserving than I was. So I mean, I can't really complain too much. You know, like I think the right people made it to the final 2. That's what I'd say.
All right. Anything else you want to say? All right. Thanks, Eric. Round of applause. Smooth. Let's bring up Holly. Where are you? Fuck your friends, literally. Holly, let me give you a hug because I think you were too far away from me from there. So I saw a lot of strong reactions to your elimination, and this was really interesting for me to watch. We can get your whole Survivor experience before. We already had our tear felt thing at the reunion recently. I guess I'll ask the question first. Well, what did this, we saw so much emotion for you at the end. What did this mean to you?
This game, I think it's pretty clear. You can see that it meant everything to me. I put my entire heart and soul into this game. Like even just watching it back in there with everyone else, they can attest to this. I cried again. Just seeing it all, I knew what was going to happen, but seeing it all on camera just like brought me back to that moment. And then all these memories of those sleepless nights and those like countless hours of talking with people and just caring so much about the game kind of like flooded back, and it was kind of overwhelming. And I think it's pretty clear that this game meant everything to me. Like you said in the reunion, we had our little heartfelt whatever. Yeah, pretty much everything. It was the best college experience I had.
So, reliving that, it's 3 years later, and I can certainly understand it flooding back. Do you feel a sense of closure overall? I mean, you won Sequester, so that was.
I did get my win, guys. For those that do like me, not many of you, but I finally did get my win, and I do feel, not like I felt invalid, but I feel validated now in my gameplay, and that I can win things, and that I can get to the end, and I can do this. And seeing my Survivor Maryland history come to a close does feel like closure. It was just nice to have it instead of like everyone's like, did you win? Did you win? Did you win? Did you win? And now I don't have to like keep the secret anymore.
Right.
And it's all out there, so it does feel like closure to me. And I'm okay. I'm okay.
Glad you're
Chris does deserve to win.
Said it.
but everyone had their I think multiple people deserve to win, and the fact that you got there and you did win does validate that, and I'm proud of you, and I'm happy for you.
Wow, these moments. I didn't script this.
It's been 3 years, okay?
Yeah.
It's a lot of time for personal growth.
So, and I don't think, it's not like I think you needed any validation of your gameplay. I mean, for the people who liked you or didn't, I don't think anybody would disagree that you played an incredible game over the course of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of somebody, the only person to really be in so much control for a large portion of the game, I think you were the one person who had that more than anybody else.
My thing is, I also don't play Survivor to get fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm okay with having haters or what have you, or whatever you want to call it. I'm okay with that. I played to win. I didn't play to make people like me, and so if you don't, that's okay, and I accept that, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
And I think that's the best attitude. Like you live in the moment. I mean, none of us really expected there to be, not that it's like millions of people, but to be this kind of fan base or community. And I don't think anybody in the season was really playing for that, which is I think part of why it was so good. And, I mean, I was surprised. I thought more people would be rooting for you because of how passionate you were about it and how much you were into it. And people, I don't think that you had no fans. I think a lot of the time, especially late, Chris and Victoria were so popular, and I feel like you were like third or fourth in a lot of those. It doesn't mean that you weren't liked. It just, you never rose in the poll. It was the two options, But I found you to be, and I thought it was I thought you were going to be more of a fan favorite because you just were such a driving force of the story for the season and made it so interesting in so many different ways. And so
I think that's partially why people didn't like me. I think just because being on top, for 90% of the game, people want to see that person fall, which is fair, and I get that. If I was watching, I'd be like, I'd be rooting for the underdogs too. So I do understand that viewpoint, but I'm perfectly okay with you rooting against me because I still got 4.
Yeah. What do you think happens if you win that duel?
if I win that duel, I was literally Googling like thickest Depends underwear or like whatever that shit is. So I was gonna wear an adult diaper to that sundial. And like Chris was not gonna know what hit him. I was gonna stay on that thing until I
feel like
lost
Chris,
consciousness.
it would have been interesting because you would have done that. Chris would have done whatever and would not care. So it just would have been really gross.
I would have sat on that sundial until the sun came up. But but it didn't come to that, so I didn't buy any adult diapers.
I do. That is one of my only regrets of the season is not being able to see that duel between you two at the end, because I think it would have been so compelling and so interesting to see you two both be so. I mean, you both are stubborn. You both are so passionate, and I think even with Ashley too, Ashley stayed a long time.
Yeah.
It would have been a really interesting 3 on the sundial. It didn't happen. I probably wouldn't have been able to record it. I would have run out of footage. So like whatever. I guess the way it works is fine. But you know, without belaboring anything too much, and I'm sure we'll talk more. Congratulations on an awesome season. So
I had a great time. Shout out to him for giving me my best college experience, hands down. I owe you so much, and I appreciate you so much. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that. I love you.
All right, and last but not least for our final 5, let's get Victoria up here. Queen. One of the most impressive and improbable things was you just skyrocketing up the fan favorite poll after in the midway through the season.
Yeah.
What was All Stars like for you in real time, and then what was it also like watching it back?
Yeah, so All Stars for me, I think when I played, you know, when you were recruiting people to play a second time, I had a really hard time deciding if I even wanted to have a second chance. I think Hairpin Trials for me was a really emotional, challenging time. And for me, there was a lot of things happening in my personal life as well. That semester I was a freshman, and I think I wanted it as an experience to kind of take a step away from real life. And the fact that real life ended up bleeding into it, it really made my experience pretty painful and really negative. But then you really persuaded me to come back. I wanted to see what I would be capable of having a second chance. You guys know, throughout the season, I had some ups, I had some downs for sure. But I think
the scally roller coaster.
Exactly. Some episodes where I might have been invisible. I saw some of those.
No edit.
No edit. There we go.
Shout out to Dom. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think I definitely had a really good experience. And I think with All Stars, getting the chance to really see what I can do, coming in with such a bad, I think I had one of the most strong opinions, like as, you know, like a backstabber, someone who's willing to do anything, and going in and trying to work out how to play with that. I think that was something I took really strongly from the season.
There were so many points where you definitely could have gone. I mean, I think it's safe to say certainly luck played a role, as it does for everybody. Yeah. But where do you feel like you really regained your footing, and how did you kind of stick through that? You had a stretch where you wouldn't talk to me for 3 weeks. There was that during the season.
Yeah.
So how did you navigate through those downs and then to really rise back up?
So luck does play a really big factor, but after Fluke came in, I actually didn't do confessionals with Austin until I think after the merge.
No, I think it was like the one, it was like right before.
Right. Yeah. And he would message me and ask for me to come in to talk to him. I'm like, oh, can I talk to Alex Burkow instead?
That's a low blow to me. No offense to Burkow.
Exactly. So you can see like how I was feeling at that moment. But I think the fact that my team won every challenge after Steal the Bacon, after that tribe swap, it really helped me kind of just get my footing in the game. Even though I wasn't doing a lot of confessionals, I was still talking to people. Shul especially, I think having his connection on that tribe really helped me get my footing. And then after I connected with Chris Thomas, I realized that there were people in the game who were willing to play with me. And I think that was what really changed it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's really, I mean, people were comparing you to Aubrey from her second time around. People weren't willing to play with her. And I think it's underrated how much it does like positively impact you when you have people who are actively working on your side. And I feel like we saw so much of a change in your demeanor that then transcended or went into your game too. I mean, I remember watching in real time with you and also Chris Thomas at the final 7. But for you, who hadn't been able to kind of really culminate it yet, to just really get that move. Sorry, Micah, but to really get that going. I mean, that was so impressive to watch. What do you feel totally at peace with everything in Survivor? I know people are very upset that you did not win.
Yeah, I think I am at peace. I think after my first season, I just wanted to see what I could do, because a lot of people said, you can really tell if it was me, if it was Fluke. And so coming in by myself and really setting up these new relationships, mending my relationship with Holly, and making it so far. I think I'm really proud of what I was able to do. I think that for me has been the biggest part of this experience, and making all of these friendships with these people. I think 3 years from filming, the fact that we're still together and just hanging out, that speaks a lot to these relationships.
Yeah, I mean, you said in your confessional, and I think it ended up being true, which is something, I mean, Terrapin Trials certainly was not the best season for creating like community and relationships, but All Stars really did so well, and I think everybody's attitude after the fact was such a big part of that. Do you have anything else you want to say while we're here?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to you as well.
Not that.
Because, no, honestly, Austin has been so crucial in like forming this community. And after All Stars, we had no idea if Survivor Maryland was even going to continue, but then Anders came in, and Austin played a big role in even passing that torch and coaching Anders, and Anders did an amazing job. Really exciting for you guys to get to see that in the future. So thank you, Austin.
Thanks, Victoria. So good to have you again. I'm very interested to see where the GOAT poll is. I put it in one of the ending polls, or the ending polls of the season. But go vote for the fan favorite. I have to go over the results of that soon. But you can vote for the fan favorite by going to the poll in the info section of the finale video. That caused a whole stir. Okay, all right. So I don't have too much else I want to get to. I don't want to keep this too late. We have a few other people here from the cast. So we'll even talk to you, Krista Thomas. You want to jump in here? Let's see, Krista Thomas.
Thanks. Return the favor.
I want to get as somebody who was not in the final five but was able to watch from the jury. You were the foreman of the jury and able to watch this finale too. What were your thoughts on watching the finale, on this whole thing wrapping up?
Just overall thoughts. I mean, I think you did an incredible job. I think going into this whole season, like we knew that you had like the editing capability to tell a story, and you kind of just like above and beyond surpassed everything. Kind of the narrative you were able to create with Ashley and Chris, especially. I mean, it's unprecedented to see kind of like the change from Ashley in her first season and getting out early, and kind of the character arc, and then obviously Chris with him winning. Like it was pretty incredible to watch, and then the other three as well, Holly and Eric and Victoria too, like just really incredible. And I think Victoria kind of said it best, like the concept of like closure, or like the ending to like people's survivor stories. So I had a great time. I mean, I think I had more fun on jury and watching than I did when I was in the game. So yeah, I think that's really kudos to you.
But you texted me today saying you still wish you had won. So I don't know if do you have your sense of closure watching this?
I have my sense of closure because I have all these like, relationships with people. It's just one of those things, like looking back, joking, like I'm such a competitive person. Like that I'll always probably scrutinize like my specific mistakes that I made in the game. Like I'm not someone who, if you were to ask me like, what would you have done differently? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I wouldn't have done anything differently. Like I absolutely would have done several things differently, specific moments, but that's just me as a person. But that doesn't mean that I don't have like the closure or like the ending that I feel. I mean, as this whole kind of experience wraps up, you're coming to a close with your Survivor Maryland story, all of our Survivor Maryland, like times are ending. So like you kind of, you take everything as it is, and it's an awesome way to end everything.
Yeah, I certainly feel that. I think it's wrapped up really well. It's been so much fun. So big storyline of the season was Battle of the Chris's. You won round one, and Chris Thomas won round two. What would happen in round three?
I don't know, and I don't know if we ever need. He's gonna point to himself. Also, I like to point to his face right there.
Big his nose.
No, I mean, me and Chris have probably from the first time we ever like really hung out. We've had like a very interesting dynamic. We've had a very interesting friendship. We've had our ups and our downs in our friendship, but especially through the end of like, our season, and especially as the episodes started coming out, I gained even more of a respect for his game, just because, he had his things that he wanted, which was to get me out and also to get players like Evan out. And like, he did not stop. Like maybe at some points he should have checked himself and stopped a little bit, but like he and also Ashley both, like Ashley said it, but they did not compromise themselves, both personally and strategically at any point. Like they stuck to who they were and they stuck to what they wanted to do. And I give them both a lot of credit for that. But Yeah, as far as round 3, I don't know. We'll keep it. Let's just keep it tied.
One day.
Let's just keep it tied at 1-1.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, like I said, this whole thing's coming to a close. I would say that on the topic of Ashley coming up and talking about the cause of like suicide and suicide awareness, just my thing is if you or anyone you know is ever dealing or like, you know, struggling with it, or if you have any kind of like inkling that anyone is struggling or dealing with anything, like the first step is like talking about it. I mean, you've been there with me, like you're a great person to come to for anything. Just find those people that you have in your life. If you don't have them, try and figure out how to, you know, find someone, because talking to it can make a world of difference. And like I said, that's really the first step on to, you know, creating the path to getting better and moving away from that that state of mind. I think all of us here, you know, in some way are affected by it, and you know, that's part of the reason why some of us are so close. And you know, yeah. Other than that, go Terps.
Evan is here.
Evan's here in spirit. Go Terps. No, and thank you for everything.
Of course. Yeah, Micah, do you want to jump up? What's up, Mike? How do you need to play your idol tonight?
I really tried. I forgot it at home. It's in my other pair of shoes, unfortunately.
Oh, darn. I also have experienced an idol being in my shoe now recently. So, yeah, from the reunion. So, sorry.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah. What was it like watching you? Wow, that was not words. What was it like for you watching this finale and seeing it all?
I don't know. For me, it was a ton of fun watching it. I remember we were all sitting next to each other, and I looked down the row, and there were like 4 people just on the edge of their seat, even though we all just lived it and we knew exactly what was happening. But it was just so engaging just to watch it all happen. And like obviously the editing and putting it all together was like incredible. So props to you for that. But just watching it back and seeing all these, throughout the end of it, we were getting updates on like what was happening. Like, oh, this person won a challenge. Like, oh, this is how this vote went. But seeing all the strategy and everything that went into every vote and all the interactions between players was so interesting and so much fun to just relive it again and just bring it back a couple of years.
Definitely. And I mean, my initial reason to start editing was to show compilations of the clips to the players in the Play-Doh. That was where it started, and then it ended up becoming episodes. So that really is one of the main purposes for you guys to relive that, which is really cool. A question for you is, what would Adam's dad say about the finale tonight? What would be his take?
Adam's dad would be like, wow, you guys played pretty well.
Better than that Micah kid.
Better than that idiot Micah.
I don't even know what else you want to say. I don't have any other questions.
I think what we were talking about at the beginning, just pay attention to the charity stuff that we have going on. I think we have a lot of great causes that we're trying to donate money to. Everybody has said it. Props to you for putting this all together and making us all be friends over the past few years. Props to everybody who came out and are still friends after all these
This
years.
is it. You all hate each other. You just put on a nice
This is
face.
it. These 7 people are the only survivors left.
Yeah, for people wondering, I mean, we were spread in different places. People were like, "Oh my God, where's Shannon? She's in Florida."
Yeah, we all graduated. We have jobs and stuff.
Yeah. And a good point about the charity. I mean, I wanted to try to get as much together as we could leading into this, because obviously you want to capitalize off the ending moment. But for everybody, I mean, please try to bear with us as we figure it out. We're not professionals at this. We have jobs and lives and stuff too. Or I used to have a life. Maybe I will resume one now. Fingers crossed. Yeah. But thank you for being part of it all, and it's been fun. Another round of applause for Micah. The fire Twitter game for Mike recently. All right, well, that's talking to everybody here. I could do the Jeff Probst, but yeah, there's our few audience members. Lita, Maya, does anyone have thoughts they want to say about the season? About the episode? Lita, renowned survivor, Maryland superfan Lita. What was your take?
Oh my gosh, the Holly and Eric. I was so used to say Holly and Evan as a pair, and I didn't want to make that mistake. That was gut-wrenching. I just wanted to ask on behalf of, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter just kind of asking, how do you think that Ashley versus Eric would have fared on the jury, if anybody wants to weigh in on that?
Who votes me out? Like, who wins spot for challenge?
Dude, this is a hypothetical
Yeah.
question.
Relax. We're not to get into the semantics of it.
You get that.
6 rounds before that.
Yeah, you actually there was a moment when Chris Thomas wobbled in the cinder block. You almost missed.
I was wondering how that wasn't in.
I wasn't. I think the camera was off then. Actually, it was kind of bad. I think I was switching cameras, and like literally the thing wobbled, and Chris gave me a look that was like, "Oh my god." So if that happens, what do we think, Jared?
I would have voted for Ashley. I would have as well. Just because Eric just gave off the air that he just didn't care. That to me was a deal.
I think I would have voted for you.
I think I would have voted for
Oh, man.
It would have been close. It would have been close.
My vote would have been in the air.
Mine would have been the same as going into the Chris versus Ashley would have been up in the air because at the end they were both super loyal allies, like from the very beginning. So
The jury chats, the jury grouping we had was very intense during the season. There were a lot. So if anybody was wondering some behind the scenes stuff of how the jury order got set for the questions, it was so heated in that group meet for a lot of the time that I tried to make it alternating between people who were like very strongly on one side, very strongly on the other side. I think you guys ended up going in with a very fair approach, but in the real time as it went on, it was just so polarized. I'm interested in Chris versus Eric. I think that like if Chris had taken Eric, I think there's a real chance that Eric wins that.
no, I think Eric could have won that.
Because I don't know, Mike and Evan flip.
Yeah, I think Evan and I probably would have gone with Eric just because he didn't try to vote us out all the time.
It was Evan, not you. It was Evan, not you.
We're fair, you know, you can't separate those.
I tried.
You tried until you did.
I have a couple more questions that Lita sent to me. Feel free to send me a couple more if you want, but I'll just kind of fire them out. For Chris Thomas, J. Ryan Law asked, how close did Ashley come to talking Chris T out of taking her during the hands on the Sundown Challenge?
So going into that challenge, I was 100% going to take Ashley, and she actually made me think about it. Like, it was for like a minute, but she was like, "Oh wait, should I actually bring Kim?" So
You spend 5.5 hours with someone, you're talking about a game, you just think through your thoughts, and I talk a lot, and then just all of a sudden, that's when I was like, oh crap.
She made me
Those
think
too much.
I left that one. I thought your guys' talk about the jury was all really interesting. Something we don't see a lot on Real Survivor or anything. But I like the way you both kind of approached it from a person by person standpoint. That Chris does especially, I think something that you were strong in at the end. We got a question. Who was my winner pick? Or who surprised me the most? So my winner pick was Holly. That was my top pick early in the season. I will maybe share some of the results of the fantasy draft we did at the beginning of the season. It was me, Steve, and Alex Perkow, and the last pick of the draft. So one person wasn't drafted. This was not just winning. This was also like points for like things happening. Whoa. For challenge wins, moves, drama, like fights and stuff, but which was probably a mistake in hindsight. But Chris Thomas was the last pick of the draft, and it was also right after the first tribal when I was like, what the heck is he doing? So it was not a great time to do the draft, but yeah, last pick. So there's that. Holly was my winner pick going in, so I felt like I was going that, and I was pretty high on Senti, and I felt very, very screwed when she took it. I was high on Sabrina and Senti too. Those are my other main picks, and Senti just ruined both of those for me. It was great. So the great Brian Scally asked, how would Chris T, Holly, and Victoria have fared against each other in Final Tribal? I have a take on that, but do you guys, like, jury's thoughts besides those three?
Like the challenger?
No. It's a Final Tribal. If it was like some mix of Chris, Holly, and Victoria.
I actually think that Chris T got a lot of credit for the moves that Chris and Victoria made together, which watching it back maybe shouldn't have got as much credit because Victoria led a lot of those charges. But just the appearance, like in the jury chat, is because like Chris was so vocal and winning all these challenges that he was kind of leading that duo instead of it being a real partnership.
Yeah, the way I sensed it was that I think Holly was by far the biggest jury threat out of anybody. The whole jury pretty much respected her game. I think Victoria was sorry. I thought Victoria was not getting the credit she deserved. I totally agree with that. I mean, I tried to balance between you two in terms of showing who led this and who led that. And you guys really did work as like a true partnership on so many of those things. And that's I think why you were so much fun for everybody to watch. But I definitely think Victoria was not getting the credit that was deserved there. But I think you also, if you get to the end, have a chance to spin that and put that together. And Chris, I think you kind of your people on the jury were going to be your people on the jury, so it would have been probably a close-ish vote with whoever you were against. I think. Anyone else have thoughts on that?
I was gonna say, I think Chris had like specific locked-in votes, no matter who he was against. Like he was gonna get Shannon, he was gonna get Vic when she went, and he was definitely always gonna get Schubel. Whereas like Holly had a more overarching like respect and probably better jury management. Like everyone went either like as friends or like respecting her game. And I think Vic, her game was not as visible, but I think Vic played how Vic did her first season, and she got as far as she did for a reason too, because she's like positioning herself well. So I mean, to me, those three probably played the best 3 games out of everyone. Obviously,
yeah,
you because you won.
I mean, Matt was before he put up a poll of the expected winner going to the finale, and it was like almost a third of the votes for each of you. It was pretty crazy. And I don't think that's a knock on King and Ashley. I thought all 5 of you played. No, I thought all 5 of you played good games, but I think the final 6 really the poll challenge showed a lot of you 3 just being on this really. I thought all of you played at a really high level, especially throughout the post merge, just as the maneuvering between each other. I thought that was just really fun to watch. Ashley, I'll direct this one to you. This is from Mel Got Served, or from who made the idols for. Good. Mel gets to see Chris T. Risen. By the way, shout out to Schubel for making that joke before everybody else. But actually, Mel asked, "Are scaled chicken fingers really that bad?" Yeah. When you're hungry.
Okay, yes, but
The shit sucked.
okay, yes, but I have this is make your jokes in the comments, whatever you want to say. I have a tendency to choke quicker than the other.
Wait, this is going back to the bubble
This
tea.
is back to the bubble tea. It's like an actual thing. It's an actual like thing that I struggle with. And I get
It's
okay.
something that I struggle with.
All right, yeah, right. And so I was yeah, and so I was genuinely concerned about like throwing up on camera and that being more embarrassing than me just completely tanking the challenge, because at the end of the day I knew I was going to be safe. So I was like, if you just tank the challenge, or if you choke and puke and die on camera, that would be rough. So
Well, it's funny because I feel like Eric, one of the things holding you back in the sundial was you were like really embarrassed by it. I remember you being like, why are we doing this? Especially you really hated the cinder blocks.
Yeah, specifically the center.
I mean, at the end of the day, this game, every single challenge brings out an insecurity in someone. I mean, you're going to be uncomfortable with memory, you're going to be uncomfortable with eating something, you're going to be uncomfortable with standing at something. And the beauty of this whole game is we all do it together and we all push ourselves to limits that we never expected to. So, I mean, props to all of us.
I think you just made a case for the people. That is well said. I think you made a case for the people who are like, this is hazing. So
And we signed up for this, we're pushing ourselves to our limits.
Fascist. I mean, some of that makes me come through is I'm like low-key super insecure about whatever.
No.
you work through that.
It's society.
So-
Jay asked the question.
The what?
Jay Fast. He asked the question.
What was the question?
What's the Giants record going to be?
Jeez.
14-6. It's not.
It's not
It's
a
a lot. Yes, it is. It's 10-6 and then 4 playoff.
Oh, okay.
wins.
Got it.
I heard it here first.
All right. I saw one other question. This will probably pass on. It's 11:40. I know you guys are probably ready to go home. So I don't know. Does anybody else have any alibis here that they want to? Yes, it is. It's totally a word.
It's a word. I mean,
That's
it's
sure.
100% a word.
Yeah. All right.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Off of what Chris said, if you don't have anyone that you feel like you could reach out to in your life, I know any single person sitting in this room, if you reach out to us, personally message us, if you're struggling, any single one of us will, go through a wall to save anyone, and that's really important for everyone to know. So it's important that we reduce the stigma.
Yeah, and I've gotten some really nice personal messages from people who have talked about just like things that they've been through, and that this gives them some small bit of joy. And I think if that's something that works for you, also like exactly what you're saying, then you reach out to any of us, leverage that. We're all willing, and that's the reason why they're good Survivor players, because they listen and they're willing to talk to anyone and interact and align with everybody. So, I don't know. But seriously, it's a really good message. I'll leave it at that. So wrapping up. This is not the last video we will do. We'll do some more stuff in 20 weeks as I figure out what to do, what the plan is. I know the Dom and Colin podcast has some podcasts planned with some of the cast, so I'm not going to try to duplicate that too much, but shout out to them and go subscribe and find them if you're interested in more Survivor Island content. I will also probably do a big Q&A about, now that I can talk about anything, it's a very, very relieving to be on these live streams and not have to worry about every word that's being said, so that's fun. This has been an incredible run and an incredible season, and I've gotten all my. I'm not going to cry. I've gotten all my closure from the thing we did a couple weekends ago, but it's really has meant a lot to see the validation of so much work that goes into this, and from all of us, I will not be ashamed to say that I put in a ridiculous amount of hours on this. So to get the fulfillment of that and see how much this means to other people too, and to watch the buzz about it tonight, even pushing through the delay, it really validates the whole experience and the whole process even more than any money could or time could. So thank you for being part of it and for sharing your feedback and for leaving your comments. Everyone really does mean a lot. And the way you guys have spread the word this season and really made it transcend just a family game or whatever. I also would say support other people who are creating these kind of things, putting this together. Certainly Anders coming up, also other hosts. I mean, there's a lot of good and rising stuff out there, and people making things at their own schools, their own homemade games. And if you see something that you like from those, I mean, first of all, I think you should know by now, give them a shot. If you don't like it, whatever. But if you do like it, let them know. I remember when I was posting episodes and 10 people were watching them in season 1. So, everybody's there and everybody goes through that, and it's you question why you're putting in the work. But those little pieces of feedback do mean so much. So I encourage you to, when you're watching these kind of things that are created by an individual, to let them know that feedback. It goes a long way and it motivates. Thanks for everyone who was part of the recaps this season, who came on, anyone who posted one tweet or anything. I cannot thank you all enough. Be sure to check out our charity stuff. I don't want to let that go unsaid one more time. And the last thing from that is that, like I said at the beginning, we have a preview of season 6, Survivor Maryland, New Beginnings, the first one without me. So if you didn't like me, you are good to go. And I've been called the soft host and the not funny one. So if you're looking for more sass and all that, then no, I'm kidding. We have some great seasons coming in the pipeline. I'm really excited to get into that and to watch it and not have to do the work for it. So check out the preview. Anders, hopefully if you're in the chat, should be posting the link to the preview anytime right now. He just posted it, so we're good to go. Great timing. So go check that out. I didn't reveal the fan favorite. That was what I was going to do. Oh, can we hear that? And we're good. I have to go to it. Somebody. Oh, I'll do it on here. God, I can't get to it. Come on.
Bro, you would have won this game so easily if anyone watched.
All right, we've got over 150 votes already. This is not going to be, there'll be more, but this will work for now. All right, here we go. Ooh. All right, so nobody look at the screen. All right, in third place, one vote away from second place. Third place, 20% of the vote so far. Jordan Schubel, there he is. We didn't talk to you much tonight, but we've heard from you, and we'll talk to you again. So. You got a nice jury speech. Shout out to Jordan. Number 2, second place, drum roll. 21% of the vote. It's the winner, Chris Thomas. There he is. You already got your glory. You didn't need the fan favorite. And the number 1 fan favorite of the season, what a rise it was. It is with 34% of the vote so far. Victoria, the queen herself. Shout out. So, 150%. Bottom line, sweeping, yeah.
In fourth place, Alex Mario.
There is a vote for Brandon. There are no vote. Oh, there's a vote for Alex Street. So yeah, there you go. All right. Well, that's how we're gonna end tonight. Again, check out all the stuff we're gonna be posting with videos and especially with the charity stuff. I will rehash that a million times. Thank you to the 251 people who are still here at 11:45 tonight. Thank you for checking it out, and we'll talk to you guys soon. So round of applause for everybody, and thank you again. And goodbye.